Hello, this is Mayor Raz J. Baraka, and thank you for tuning in to EduTalk, where we will discuss incredible topics centered around our young people, about local control, community schools, our special needs population, creating curriculum and opportunities for young people to move forward from elementary school into careers or to universities. It is the opportunity for us to discuss our young people's creativity, their imagination, their ability to move our city forward. We need them in Newark, and we need the best educated, the most well-trained, incredibly courageous and imaginative young people coming out of our school system. And this show gives us an opportunity to engage those topics. Again, thank you for watching. God bless.
Welcome to EduTalk. My name is Antoinette Richardson, and I'm the Chief Education Officer for Mayor Baraka's Office of Comprehensive Community Education. On our last segment, the business administrator for the Newark Public Schools, Valerie Wilson, broke down the so-called billion-dollar budget so that we could understand where the money comes from and where it goes. Today on EduTalk, we're going to get a little more down in the weeds. We're going to focus on two individual schools. And here to help us understand the budgets of individual schools are two principals. We have with us Principal Nicole Johnson from Eliot Street School and Principal Mario Santos from Eastside High School. Before we get started with our school leaders today, we're going to throw out a fun fact. So at each EduTalk, we throw out a fun fact, and you have time while the show is going on to see if you can find the answer. You may already know the answer to the fun fact question. So our fun fact question for today is, how can parents see the budget for their child's school? How can anyone see the budget of a particular school? We'll be back with the answer to that later in the show. So thank you for joining me, Principal Johnson, Principal Santos, and just so that the folks who are watching can get to know you a little bit. First, Principal Johnson, could you just tell a little bit about yourself, your history at the school, and any other introductory comments that you would want to make?
Sure. So I am the principal at Eliot Street School. This is my 5th year of being principal of the school. I was a vice principal for 3 years. Prior to that, I worked at Central Office as a literacy supervisor, and prior to that, I was a teacher at Bruce Street School for the Deaf for 10 years.
Wow. Thank you. Principal Santos.
So I was raised in Newark. I actually did my all my schooling here in Newark, New Jersey. Became principal of Eastside High School back in the 90s. Been with the district for 28 years as a principal, vice principal, special assistant, core team specialist, and bilingual social studies teacher.
Long history in the district.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Okay, so you know a lot about budgets, and I guess you've seen a lot of budgets. Today, we really want to hone in on budgets. I think the individual school budget, that's where it hits home. You know, when parents and teachers talk to me about budget, you know, over the years, not to go into my history, I was a teacher, I was on the school board, you know, they usually have a question about the budget at the school level. We learned about the budget on the district level, but at the school level is where it really hits home, because that's where parents can see how it really directly impacts their child's education. So how important do you think it is for community members and parents to really understand your school's budget? What difference does it make whether they understand it or not? Principal Santos?
I think it's very important that parents understand and the community understands the budget. This is where we put the resources towards for educating their children, where we hire the teachers, we pay for the funds for extracurricular activities, co-curricular activities, athletics, supplies, computers, anything they can think of in terms of goes into school, it's in the budget.
Thank you. Yeah. Principal Johnson?
So extremely important. It's important that we help parents to kind of connect the dots between what's happening in school and how we use the funds. So actually just last week we had our community budget meeting where we were able to share with them the budget for next year, the proposed budget for next year in terms of staffing and additional programs. And so it's important that they not only attend school events, but they're part of being knowledgeable in terms of understanding the rationale behind why we do what we do as principals.
Thank you. And so how does the budget get developed? Like for a large high school like Eastside High School, and I know I worked at Barringer High School for many years, a large high school and everybody wants and everybody needs and you have to prioritize. So do you just like sit in your office and you know, with a sign up, do not disturb, and just do the budget and I don't care what anybody thinks? Or is there another process? Like what is the process like for the development of your budget?
It's a collaborative process, and it involves everyone in the school. It involves the administration. It involves the instructional support teams. It involves the parent liaison, the community liaison. It involves everybody in the building. And the budget is built up. So we start with basically the basics in terms of what's needed to run a school, what's needed for students to graduate. So in terms of the number of teachers we need in each particular discipline, that builds up the budget. And then based on these specialized programs that we have in terms of the needs of students. For example, at Eastside High School, we have 2,000 students and about 500 of them are bilingual, and about 350 special ed students, so those services have to be addressed. And so it involves everyone. It's a collaborative process.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Principal Johnson, what does it look like at your school in terms of development of your budget?
Pretty similar to Eastside. Of course, we're a smaller school. We have 750 students. But it is a collaborative effort. It begins not just during budget season, but it actually begins in September. As the principal, I have what I call a principal budget journal. And so beginning in September, I begin to take notes in terms of what programs are working, which ones are not, are they successful, are we going to keep them for next year? How are we doing with technology? Eliot is a one-to-one school. Every student has a laptop, every teacher has a laptop. So technology is very expensive, and so how are we doing in terms of the funding for this year so that we make adjustments for next year? So it's ongoing all throughout the year so that we are informed and we're able to make decisions based on everyone's needs and what we need for the next year.
Principal Johnson, you mentioned that Eliot is a one-to-one school. What does that mean?
So at Eliot right now we are pre-K to 6. So every single student in pre-K and K has a tablet, and every student has their own laptop.
How did that happen?
So we are a new school.
Okay.
We opened in February 2016. I don't know if you know, but our school had a fire almost 12 years ago. And so we moved in February 2016, beautiful state-of-the-art building with smart boards, laptops. Teachers have laptops, staff members have laptops. And so that's what it means to be a one-to-one. But with that comes lots of funding needed for replacement parts and upkeep of technology.
Thank you. Thank you. So I'm not going to ask you what that looks like in terms of the budget and all of that upkeep, but it's wonderful to know that you have that technology and that the students have that technology.
Yes.
Wonderful. So where are you at in each school? Where are you at right now today in your budget process? Are you done? Are you in the middle?
So we're done. We're done with the budget. It takes about 6 weeks for us to once we get or 4 weeks once we get the allocation in terms of what our budget is, to then build a budget from zero all the way up to obviously to where the funding is. So now it's really engaging the community. It's getting ready for in terms of the programs that that we've designed, or continuing the programs that we have, and that's where we are.
What does the engaging the community piece look like?
So engaging the community is, we have at Eastside High School, we actually do also the community, where I think every school actually does that, has the budget meetings for the community. We also at Eastside High School, we have a school leadership council puts together a reception for our parents.
Nice.
And that's when we get a lot of parents to come in and participate. And we present the budget there, and we also let them know in terms of not only how their students are doing, because we honor them for their effort, but also what are the programs that we have at Eastside High School, what we offer for them. So if there's any siblings, any younger under younger brothers and sisters that are coming up in the elementary schools, we let them know what we offer at Eastside High School.
Wonderful. So they're encouraged to really get involved
Absolutely.
in the school. You know, I used to think, because Newark does these budget rollouts for the parents in the community, I used to think every district does that. They don't. You know, and people think that Newark doesn't do a lot of things that it should do, but this is something that Newark does that other places don't do for their communities. So one more question, and that is, did you have to make any really hard budget decisions this year? Like, what kinds of things do you have to weigh?
So we were fortunate this year. This year our budget was a little bit more than we received last year. Not a lot, but a little more. And so we were able to maintain a lot of the program that we started last year. And we're just going to continue those particular programs. Those are very effective programs. As Nicole said, we look every year, we revisit, as a team, we visit what's working in terms of the needs of students. I mean, first and foremost, the first thing the question we ask is always, what do the students need to be successful? And not just academic, but we also focus on the affective. It's so important to understand, and this is what we've been doing at Eastside for years and years and years. We ask that question, how do we educate students not only on the academic side, but how do we support them in the affective? Because our babies come to us with so many different needs, and we cannot just ignore it and focus just on academics. And at Eastside, we've been doing that for years. So we have programs to offer it and to give it to them. Yeah.
I think everybody is beginning to understand now that we have to look at the whole child.
Absolutely. Social emotional learning is so important.
We must. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Principal Johnson, where are you at in your, are you finished with your budget? And what else do you want to add?
So we submitted a few weeks ago, and right now we are actually ensuring that this year's budget is fully spent.
Okay.
And then as we wait for the official acceptance, we are preparing for next year. How do we ensure that we're ready for August when students and teachers return? Do they have sufficient materials? Is everything ready to go? Also, in terms of the positions that we'll have next year, the staffing positions, we are growing as a school community. We are a pre-K to 6 now. Next year we'll be a pre-K to 7. So we'll have an increase of over 100 students. So that includes hiring at least 7 to 8 new staff members. So we're in a process of interviewing potential candidates, just really making sure that we are ready to open for students in August.
Wonderful. Are you projected to go to 8th grade?
Yes, yes,
And when did that
absolutely.
happen?
So each year we're adding a grade. So next year our 6th graders will move to 7th grade, and then they'll move to 8th grade. So we are projected to go to 8th grade, to have close to 1,000 students. I may be catching up with Principal Santos. It is a really big school. We have a huge pre-K population. We have over 90 pre-K babies there. We have a whole pre-K suite. It truly is a state-of-the-art school.
I have to come visit and do a tour. I've been there when you opened, of course, but yeah, I'd love to do a tour. So were there any particular challenges this year to this year's budget? Any hard decisions that you had to make?
So I'm just as fortunate as Mr. Principal Santos here. We did not have to make any difficult decisions. We actually were able to add a number of positions, teachers, support staff. We were able to add an ESL teacher, a resource teacher for our special needs students, a STEM program for our primary age students. So we were really fortunate to not have to make any cuts this year. I was really pleased with my budget outcome.
That's good to hear.
Yes,
that
it
is
is.
wonderful to hear, because the other scenario is very, very painful one. So that's wonderful. Can each of you speak a little bit to any programs, like what are you proud of? What do you want to, kind of toot your horn about that students, that was really great this year, that students can look forward to continuing next year as they participate in your schools?
Yeah.
So as I was talking about before, we are very proud that we really also focus on the social emotional learning. And we're proud to have Big Picture to be a big picture school. So we have a school within a school. And we also offer our students, we partner with Yes for Schools, which is a meditation mindfulness program that allows students to understand and to be able to actually breathe and learn how to deal with conflict in a way that they become very self-aware of their emotions. So that's been pretty been very powerful. Our suspension rates are much lower. Obviously, we're We also offer a lot of different athletic programs. We offer lacrosse to both boys and girls. We have a girls hockey team for both boys and girls. So we have these 3 unique sports, and that's offered to all the students. Both hockey and lacrosse are offered for students all over the city. It's not just in the Ironbound. So we're very proud of that. So we've been pretty successful with those programs.
So you're saying that students at other schools who
Absolutely.
want to
Yes,
learn
yes.
to play, who want to play lacrosse and hockey can do that.
And I'm going to put a shameless plug. We have a hockey team, and we have a girls and boys hockey team and a girls and boys lacrosse team. And we're looking for players. So anyone in the city, any student in the city can come in and try out for our teams.
Hey, plug on.
Nice.
Wonderful, wonderful. I hope everyone heard that.
Yeah.
Great,
Nice.
great. And what about Eliot?
So we are starting a STEM program next year that we are really excited about. I've already hired the teacher. She's all ready to go with our new STEM program for the primary grades. In terms of new programs, we intend to focus on what we have now. We found that it's working for students, and so we're going to continue with those programs. We have a number of interventions in both literacy and math. We have iReady, System 44. We also have a robotics program for our 6th grade students. We have Rosetta Stone for our English language learners. We have non-academic clubs because, again, we know that that's important. And so we have a chess program. We have a debate program. And so we intend to continue with those programs and just add on the STEM program for next year. They've been really successful. Students are happy on Fridays when they get to go to clubs. We have students even as young as 8 years old that go to clubs. They go to chess and basketball and math clubs and debate club, and this is in 3rd grade. So we intend to, thanks to the budget and the funding, to continue those programs for next year.
Wow, I mean, it sounds like students at Eastside and Eliot really have a lot to look forward to.
Yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
strong academic programs, and then I think a strong school life and culture,
Yes.
the atmosphere of the school makes a big difference.
Absolutely.
So thank you
does.
very much. Thank
you.
you for being
Thank
here
you
with
for
us
having
today.
us.
I'm going to go now into the answer to our fun fact, and then I'll come back and see if you want to do brief closing remarks.
Okay.
So our fun fact for today was, and if I get this wrong, you'll have the opportunity to correct me, make my answer a little bit better. My fun fact question was, how can parents see the budget for their child's school? And the answers, at least that I came up with, is by attending the school budget review at each school and on each school's website.
Correct.
Did I get that?
Correct, yes.
Yay for me. Okay, thank
Yes.
you. And just a quick 30-second if you'd like to make any closing remarks.
Sure, I'll
Yes,
start.
Principal Johnson.
I'll start, definitely. So at Eliot Street School, again, we are growing, and so we are really excited that the students have these wonderful opportunities with this new building. Family engagement is extremely important to us, and so including them in the budget process is also important. We have a host of events at our school, and we get really large turnouts. We had a math night a few months ago where 550 parents came to our family math night at 7 p.m. And so it's important that they not only attend those events, but that they are part of the decision making and that they're knowledgeable about what's happening in our school, how are we spending money, so forth and so on, so that when we do need them to come in and support and volunteer, that they're eager to do that. And so it's important that we engage them in not just the fun parts of the school, but also really making decisions about programs, as we said, and staffing. We have parents sit in on some of the interviews because these are the teachers that will be sitting in front of their babies. And so we invite them also to the interviews. And so it's a great school. I'm proud to be the principal at Eliot Street School. I hope to be there for as many years as Principal Santos.
Thank you. I think what you said is so important. I love when I hear principals talk about community involvement, not just being parents coming to a PTA meeting, but really being involved in decision making.
Yes.
I mean, that's the direction we have to go in.
Yes.
That's the direction that the community is calling for us to go in, and that is the direction that a lot of school districts are going in. It's hard.
It is
It's
hard.
hard to be inclusive, but I think
It is hard.
you're seeing it pays off
But
in
it's
the
a
end.
payoff.
Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, it's a payoff. The students, they like to see their parents in the school. It helps with student achievement. It helps with attendance. Wow, attendance. When you know that your parent is involved and the parents know that we are also inviting them into the school, they're more likely to send their child to school every day. And the kids want to come to school. At Eliot Street School, the last day of school is amazing. Kids don't want to leave. They don't want to leave on the last day of school. So it's a great environment for kids.
Thank you.
It is.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, and speaking of the environment, it's so important, the culture and climate of a school. And for Eastside High School, we're the largest high school in the city with 2,000 students plus. 2,000 plus, actually, I think it's like 2,060. And so we have programs for everyone. We have the International Baccalaureate program, and we have the early college program. We actually have students graduating Eastside with an associate's degree. As a matter of fact, it's crazy. We're going to graduate at Prudential Center, and while I give them a high school diploma, there's going to be a dean from Essex County College giving them their associate's degree on stage.
Could you talk about the International Baccalaureate program?
Yeah. So we have the, and actually we're also, the International Baccalaureate program, we're going to bring in a bilingual component for our bilingual students.
Great.
And what this does is if you get the seal of the Diploma Plus program, what you get is on that transcript, that allows a student to kind of, it gives them kind of a leg up if they want to go to an Ivy League school, apply for a prestigious college, because that's kind of a stamp that's recognized around the world in terms of rigor. So students who complete that program can go anywhere in the world, and most likely, I mean, obviously, there will definitely be sought at and, to go to those universities. So we have it in Newark, and we have it at 2 schools. I know we have it at Eastside and at Science Park, so we're very proud to offer that for our kids. But we also have the Big Picture program, a non-traditional high school. So we can redesign for students who are not going to be successful in a traditional high school, can be part of the Big Picture program. We also have our Talent Development Academy, where we have students that have had major challenges that come in and are are not seeing school as a way out. We bring them in and really give them a personalized setting, so they can be successful in high school and get a high school diploma and be successful in life.
Wow.
And so we've offered everything for our students, and so it's in a way it's great to be big as a big school.
No, I hear you. It sounds like you've got something for everyone to
we
meet the
do.
needs of all students,
Yeah,
which is what a comprehensive high school
Yes.
should do.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yep.
So again,
Absolutely.
thank you so
Thank you.
much,
Thank you.
Principal Santos,
Thank you.
Principal Johnson, for
Thank you.
joining us here today on
you.
EduTalk. Hope to have you back again in the future. If you have any ideas for shows, please please send them in to us, and
Will
we'll
do.
be happy. EduTalk airs on Optimum Channel 78 and on FiOS. On FiOS 28. On Sundays at 2:30 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7:30 p.m. You can catch EduTalk at your convenience on YouTube, on NWK-TV, EduTalk. Thank you, everyone, for watching EduTalk, where we talk about all things education, straight from the office of Mayor Raz J. Baraka.